Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
What is going on, everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time zone you were joining me from. I hope you are all doing well and having a fantastic day so far. And if not, maybe I can brighten your day up a little more or make it even better. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Lillie Holmes. Today we are going to discuss a broad range of topics, starting with my favorite country songs. I have to admit, country is not my favorite genre ever. However, I do have my favorite songs, and I'm going to let you guys know what those are. Next, we are going to talk about the greatest hits from one of the greatest rock bands of all time, Bon Jovi. We're also going to talk about the topic that no one ever wants to discuss nor get done, cleaning. I'm going to let you guys know what the best songs are to listen to while you're cleaning that makes you want to Swiffer and mop and clean and dust under every picture frame and shelf and crevice in the house until it is sparkling clean. And last, but certainly not least, we're going to talk about the best of High School Musical, all three movies. That is a conversation that my millennials, my Generation Z, and quite frankly, everyone is going to want to stick around to hear about. Because I've grown up in Florida, born and raised for my very, very long 21 years of life, my music taste can differ widely, and people who are from Florida will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. Country is not my favorite genre, but it is something in the past few years I have definitely gotten more on board with and find myself listening to a lot more than I ever have. At heart, I am a pop girl. I am very basic. I hate to admit it, but it is the truth, and I've learned to accept it. The country songs I'm going to list to you guys are ones that I've added to my playlist, and I just absolutely love to listen to, and they really get me in a one of lasso things kind of mood, if that makes any sense. This list here is not in any particular order, except for not my number one favorite, but I'm not going to give you guys that one until the end. You guys know how this works by now. You got to wait to find out what number one is. The rest of the songs, no particular order. They were just what came to my head when I was thinking about my favorite country songs. The first one on the list here is California by Eric Etheridge. Song California, if you haven't heard it before, it is about a guy singing who is just planning out to move to California to live that, rock star, country star, pop star, celebrity life in Hollywood, LA, that everyone always thinks is so glamorous. And that's just what he's ready to do. It is an upbeat song. It's fun to listen to, fast-paced, and it's, you could say, uplifting and good-hearted. Everyone wants to believe that they can pick up one day and go live their dream, and that's because they can. It may not be as easy as it looks in movies sometimes, but it is 100% always possible to go out and live your dream. And, that's what the song is about. He wants to go live out his dream in California and make all of his wildest dreams come true. So it's just a great song, really fun to listen to. The next song we have on the list here is Girl on Fire, also by Eric Etheridge. I want to mention that I had first heard this song and the California song on a road trip with a friend of mine from North Carolina to Florida, and he was playing his country playlist that only had 10 to 15 songs on it. And 2 of these songs were on it. And for about 12 hours straight, all he played was that playlist. I didn't really care because I was exhausted. I had had a very, very long day of traveling. And, I gave him aux. I told him he could listen to whatever he wanted in my car. I could care less. I was sleeping or eating most of the time. So that's how I discovered these songs. Even if I didn't like them right off the bat, they were played so much in the car that my brain would not have really given me an option to not like them. So it's a good thing I ended up liking them. The song Girl on Fire by Eric Etheridge is just another fun song. It's a guy singing about, a girl in a, bar club atmosphere, just really catching his attention, really taking control of the crowd. Everyone's looking at her. She's the star, having a good time. Just kind of fun stuff like that. Definitely a female admiration song, but everyone loves to listen to those at one time. So it's one of the reasons I like that song. The next one we have on the list here is Springsteen by Eric Church. Another Eric. Erics are good country singers, I guess. I first heard this song back when I was 12 or 13 in middle school. It is one of the first country songs I ever recall hearing, actually. One of my friends played it for me, and it is slower. It's a slowed down song for sure. If you haven't heard it, it's about a guy just reminiscing about his past when he was 17, 18, and just kind of about his first love and what things used to be like. I'm only 21, and I still find myself looking back and reminiscing on my middle school days. So just like this song, reminiscing when he was 17 or 18, I can only imagine when I'm 30, 40, 50, how I'm going to look back and be reminiscent about all the things back then. So, there's almost a nostalgia reason that I like this song because it is one of the first country songs I heard. But it's a good song. The next one we have on the list here is So Sorry Mama by Whitney Duncan. I first heard this song when I was watching the remake of Footloose. It is a song from the soundtrack. It is a upbeat, fast-paced song. I absolutely adore listening to it. The song is about a girl just singing like she's really falling for this guy. He's got a beard, he has ripped jeans, blue eyes, everything her mom warned her about, that she'd fall for in a guy. And she's just saying, I'm so sorry, Mama, I'm being tempted, and all that good stuff when it comes to love. So it's just kind of fun for that reason. There's a good choreography with the song and the movie as well that I think also hooked me onto the song. If something has good choreography along with the song, I really get hooked. I love dancing and I love singing. I can't do either of them, but I really enjoy watching and listening to them from other people. And that's this song, when I was first introduced to it, has both of those two things. So the next song we have on the list here is, I think, one of the first country songs I ever heard. It is Big Green Tractor by Jason Aldean. I like this song for a multitude of reasons. I'm sure you've all heard the song Big Green Tractor. If you have not, well, take a wild guess that it is about a big green tractor. Jason Aldean is singing about, he's got a date with his girl, and he's saying they could go out on the town, go to the show or whatever, or they could stay at home and ride the big green tractor. I think this song is really interesting and funny. I've grown up in Florida. I did not grow up more, in the country part or anything. I've always grown up in more suburban areas. So maybe that's just not what I'm used to. Maybe people who have more land or more, farming supplies, getting up on their tractor or other things might be fun for them. I don't know. I do know I love riding golf carts when I was younger, so maybe it's kind of that same realm there. I would have loved to know what was going through Jason Aldean's brain when writing this song. It is just so fun to listen to, and it's just kind of gets you thinking, like, why are you going to ride a big green tractor when you have tickets to go see a show on a date? But I think it kind of is just fun to listen to for that reason. There's not much depth behind it, or at least I don't add much depth behind it, really. I just take it for what it is. I don't want to call it a silly song, but it has some silly lines in it, in my opinion. So that's the reason I like it. The next song we have on the list here is Life is a Highway by Rascal Flatts. Before I get into why I like this song, I want to mention that I just recently found out that Rascal Flatts is the name of the band that sang this song, and it is not of the name of the singer. So Rascal Flatts is a band of people, not a singer. That was mind-blowing when I discovered that. So I if you were just now learning that or just recently have learned that, I just want to mention that you were not alone. The song Life is a Highway is a classic. I first heard it in the Cars movie back in 2006, I think it was. So I was 6 years old. That was when I was first introduced to the song. And since then, you still see it everywhere. It's used in many, many movies. I'm sure you've all heard it. If you haven't, it's just talking about life is a highway. It's really fast-paced, always changing. Things can go wrong in a split second, and you just got to stay on the great ride that is life, aka a highway as well. I think it has a nice meaning behind it. People, sometimes are always saying, oh, take things slow, you have all the time in the world. But at the same time, you don't always have all the time in the world. And that's kind of, I believe, one of the premises behind the song. So that's the reason I really like it. And it's fast-paced as well as it goes along. It starts out a little slower, but, gets more faster as it goes on. The next song we have on the list is Forever After All by Luke Combs. Luke Combs is a little more younger from the list of singers I've given to you already, and he's a little more new in the music scene compared to the rest. The song Forever After All, I recently have just discovered it, and I really like it. Luke Combs is just singing about, no one says that forever actually lasts, and you're not going to stay with your first love forever, and just because it seems all butterflies and daisies, it's not going to last. And Luke Combs is saying, well, no, people may not think it's going to last, but if they saw us together, it will last. This is different. I like the song because I like to go against, what people say. In my life, I've always, beat the odds, I'd like to think. And that's kind of what Luke Combs is singing about here. No one thinks him and his relationship is going to last. And, I like that. You should always try and beat the odds, no matter what everyone else thinks. So that's a great song. Next is This Is How We Roll by Florida Georgia Line. I have came up with a lot of reasons as to why Florida Georgia Line named themselves what they did. One of my theories is that one of them is from Florida and the other is from Georgia, and maybe that's why they did it. I haven't done any research. I have to admit I've had a lot of fun just coming up with all different kinds of ideas in my head as to why they named themselves that. Again, I'm going to give myself some more time before I actually look it up, but I've been having fun trying to figure it out. The song This Is How We Roll, laid back song, just about hanging out, just this is what you do when you're hanging out with your friends, everyone's different type thing, just one of those songs. Especially it talks about money and stuff like that. This is a great song to listen to if you are going to the beach and you got the windows down. For my people who are not near a beach and don't go there often, next time you're on your way to the beach, start listening to the song with the windows down. This is one of those songs that I believe is made for rides like that. The next song we have on the list here is Holy, also by Florida Georgia Line. When I first heard this song, I thought it was going to be more religious because of the name Holy. Holy is an acronym for High on Loving You. So they're singing about that euphoric feeling you get when you are so in love with your partner. You feel like you're on cloud nine, nothing gets better, hence High on Loving You. It's another great love song to listen to. Slow down, not more fast-paced. I would say a lot more country songs are on the fast-paced, upbeat side compared to the lower beat side. But as I mentioned before, I'm not a huge country fan, so I don't listen to as much country music as I do pop. So don't take my word for that. If you are a huge country fan, I'm sure you could name plenty of slow down country songs. Next on the list is Cruise, also by Florida Georgia Line. This is a more upbeat song. This is, I believe, the first song I ever heard by Florida Georgia Line back in, I want to say 2013 or 2014 when they were first getting big in the music industry. They started, doing well with this song. I started seeing them on a lot of award shows and hearing a lot more about them after I heard this song initially. This song, I'm sure you have all heard it, and if you haven't heard it, it's just about just having fun and cruising down the road, driving the car, not really thinking about much, just relaxing type thing. So it's easy to listen to, not much meaning behind it. Next song we have on the list is That's My Kind of Night by Luke Bryan. When I think of country music, I think of Luke Bryan as one of the bigger artists in the genre. I like him for a lot of reasons. He seems like a great dude. He's very attractive, I will also mention, and he's really funny. I like his stuff on American Idol. I think he gives a lot of funny, insightful criticism. The song That's My Kind of Night is a song about what Luke Bryan's favorite kind of night is. Just hanging out with his friends, having drinks, dancing, hanging out with a girl he's interested in. So that is really fun to listen to. It is probably in my top 5 for country songs. If I had to put a list of my top 5, that would be very hard for me to do, but that would probably be in my top 5. It is also one of the first country songs I had ever listened to, so that kind of brings me back to that nostalgia point I was speaking of earlier. The next song we have on the list is Our Song by Taylor Swift. This takes us back to Taylor's original country roots. I think Taylor has done a phenomenal job at going from country to pop country to pop to kind of that pop indie alternative right now. I feel like a lot of people can agree that it is hard for certain artists to switch genres. I personally think some artists fit well with one genre and others fit well with multiple. I think Taylor fits well with multiple. And Our Song is one of the only ones I know that is more in touch with her countryside. If you haven't heard it, it's about, a girl singing that her and her boyfriend, they don't have a song, that whole, our song thing that couples have. And then they start singing about, we do have a song. It's sneaking out late, talking on the phone real late, really, quiet so no one hears, that kind of stuff. It's a cheesy, cute love song, so I really like it. And it's just, I think it helps just in comparison, shows the growth Taylor has had over her voice and over her career and songs. So that's one part of it as well. All right, guys, it is time to tell you guys my number 1 favorite country song. It is Fake ID by Big Rich featuring Gretchen Wilson. I first heard this song on the remake of Footloose. It is a really, really upbeat, fun party song to listen to. If you haven't heard it, it's about a guy. He's trying to get into a venue that his favorite band is playing at, but he is not old enough, and he's just trying to snag a fake ID from a guy. And, he doesn't want to drink or do drugs or anything like that. He just wants to get in to see his favorite band play. And I never, had a fake ID or anything like that, but I almost can relate to it just because I, have spent enormous amounts of money getting tickets to, see my favorite singers and bands play. So I understand his need in the song for how badly he wants it. I greatly love music and would go to extraordinary lengths to see my favorite artists, so I understand it. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the greatest hits of Bon Jovi. And don't forget later on, it is going to be time to talk about the best of High School Musical, a musical on Disney that changed the way musicals and the Disney Channel was looked at for forever. We will be right back.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. We are going to do a very hard transition from country songs to rock songs, very specifically, some of the greatest rock songs of all time, Bon Jovi's greatest hits. Before I go into detail about the greatest hits of the greatest band of all time, Bon Jovi, I just recently found out that Bon Jovi is the name of the band, not the name of just one singer. The lead singer's name is John Bon Jovi. For the longest time, I thought Bon Jovi was one guy, and he was the only one singing all of these songs. You truly do learn something new every day. It absolutely blew my mind when I found out, because I truly had no idea. I mean, in my defense, Bon Jovi is very, very much before my time. They first came out in 1984. I was not born until 99. And I don't think my parents listened to his music, and I had heard, the songs like Living on a Prayer and stuff like that a few times when I was younger, but I didn't go seeking his music out myself until I was around 15 or 16. So cut me some slack. Before I tell you guys the greatest hits of Bon Jovi just yet, let's talk about some really interesting facts I found out about the band that really boggled my mind. The first one on here, not mind-boggling, but interesting, of course. Their hit, Living on a Prayer, peaked at number 1 in the Billboard charts and stayed on the Billboard charts for 45 weeks straight. That is no surprise there. I'm sure you have all heard the song Living on a Prayer at least once. It is used on TV and in movies and for all sorts of reasons all the time. Everybody knows it. I most recently saw it on the show The Masked Singer. One of the masked people were singing songs. It is widely known today, even though it came out back in, I believe it was 1986. So 35 years later, it is still doing very well for itself, and it's just a great song. This is something that really boggled my mind. Bon Jovi, the band, holds the record for the band with the most top 10 singles that never reached number 1. I know what you're all thinking. That's really weird to hear. They had top 10 singles, which is a huge accomplishment. Kudos to them. But they're also the band with the most top 10 singles that never hit number 1. That is just so odd to think about. The band is just absolutely amazing. I mean, they have so many hits and they're so well known. It's just so weird to think about that they hold that record. I would have thought that they had hit after hit after hit after hit, which I guess you would say they did in terms of popularity, but not really in terms of chart toppers as much. I think that's just really, I don't know, that really blows my mind. They have 18 top 10s. I mean, I feel like most songs that get in the top 10s hit number 1 at least once, and especially a band like Bon Jovi, they have been around since 1984. They have 15 studio albums. Yes, you heard me correctly. 15. That is huge. Again, I would have thought they would have had more number ones than the amount they have, but I think that may come from the time that they started making music to now. We're a lot more in a digital age than ever before. I think that possibly may have something to do with it. If not, I really could. I don't know I don't really have much of a theory other than why they don't have more number ones. I personally love their music, and I truly do think they are one of the greatest rock bands of all time. They have 71 music videos. They've sold 130 million records worldwide. 130 million records. That is, oh my God, so much. I mean, that is such a high number considering back when they first started, you couldn't go and download or stream music online. You had to go to a record store or a convenience store. I don't even know where you bought music from as much back then. It wasn't live. That was about 15 years before I was born. But it wasn't as easy to get a hold of music as it is now. So that is such a high number for how hard it used to be to get music. From seeing, statistics like that, I take that as people really liked them and really wanted to hear their music, which again brings me back to the point, why didn't they have more number ones? Their third studio album, Slippery When Wet, which came out in 1986, was their best-selling album out of all 15 of them, and it sold a total of 28 million copies worldwide. 28 million copies is a astronomically high number, especially when, I look at someone like Justin Bieber, who we've talked about before. He sells an average of between 2 and 6 million copies worldwide off his albums. And that's Justin Bieber, who's huge. Everyone knows who he is, whether they love him or hate him, everyone knows. So 28 million compared to 2 to 6 million is it's more than doubled. I can't even do the math on that. I've told you guys before, math is not my strong suit, but it is a huge number. I really can't understand how Bon Jovi is still around these days. Not because I don't think they're good, because I mentioned before, one of the greatest rock bands to ever exist. I'm just surprised they haven't ran out of things to sing about at this point. They have done 2,700 concerts in over 50 countries. 2,700 concerts. Do you know how many shows that is besides the actual number? I can only imagine the strain and stress and how tired the band was after doing that. Not only do they have some of the greatest songs, they put in some of the hardest work of any band of all time. It is mind-boggling how long they've been around and how much work they put in, and in my opinion, how good their songs are. They, again, will forever be one of the greatest rock bands of all time for so many reasons. Let's get into their greatest hits now. Now, this song I made of their greatest hits is more the songs I think are their greatest hits. Now, I will admit I have not listened to every single one of their songs out of all of their 15 albums, but I've listened to a decent amount of their music, and these are songs that, one, I believe are widely known, even if Bon Jovi is not your generation, for example, like myself, and even if you're not a bigger fan of him to begin with. The first one on the list is It's My Life. I heard this song for the first time about 3 or 4 years ago. My boyfriend got me a Bon Jovi album because I was listening to their song Living on a Prayer one day in the car, and it was like 2 weeks before Christmas, and he took that as I was in love with Bon Jovi. So for Christmas that year, one of the presents he got me was a Bon Jovi album. That wasn't opposed to it. I was just like, okay, interesting. So anyways, I popped the CD in my car, and this was the first song that came on the list. And I really like this song because it's about, you're not going to live forever, and you got to do what you got to do when you're going to do it, because it's your life, no matter what anybody else is saying. And those are almost, that's a way and words I like to live by. I am a very firm believer that, you can't always live by what's comfortable for other people and what is easy for other people. Sometimes you just got to do things for yourself to make yourself happy and to live the best life that you can live. And because you don't live forever, and that's what It's My Life is about. So that's one of the reasons I think it's one of their greatest hits. The next one on the list, I mentioned it before, it is the classic Living on a Prayer. This is, of course, one of my favorite songs and one of their greatest hits. I think it would be one of their greatest hits, even if it wasn't so, popular today. It's, from what I have heard and have been told by older generations, it really defines the sound of rock back in the 80s and 90s. Like I said before, I wasn't around then, so I can't speak too well from it. But, this is one of those songs that when you're thinking of 80s and 90s rock, Living on a Prayer is exactly under that umbrella. So it's just a great song for, many, many reasons. One of them being it is longer. I mentioned before, I like longer songs. So that's a reason I like it. The next song we have is We Weren't Born to Follow. This is a song kind of, similar to It's My Life. I think it gives some valuable words to, live your life on. That don't be a follower, be a leader. And I know everybody has heard that millions and millions of times, especially growing up in school, but it's true. We're not born to follow. We're not, born to do what everyone else is doing. We don't have to stay mainstream. We don't have to stay basic. We can change things up and do whatever we want to do, even if it's not what's popular and what everyone else is doing. We were not born to, follow just whatever people tell you to do. And that's what the song is about, and that's why I like it. More words to live by that I live by. Next one on the list is You Give Love a Bad Name. Singer, this is a love song. I don't know what gave it away. This is a great song if you haven't heard it. It is about, bad relationship. You got hurt and you're suffering due to something your partner did, and they left a bad taste in your mouth, and they're almost making you never want to love again because of how badly the relationship was or how badly something happened. It is a great song to listen to if you are just really feeling upset about your recent breakup and it wasn't your fault. So a great breakup song and love song. Next on the list is I'd Die For You. This is also another love song, about how Bon Jovi would die for someone because of how in love they are with them. Everyone can agree, people say things like, I'd die for you to, family members and, their partners and people they love more than anything. So, and this is definitely one of those songs, again, like Living on a Prayer, that I believe defines the sounds of rock music in the 80s and 90s. The next one is Have a Nice Day. This is another song kind of about living your life, and if someone's not down with it, say goodbye, in the song they sing about, if you're not down with what I'm doing and you're not happy, have a nice day, get out of my life, I'm going to go do whatever I got to do. More words to live by. The next song we have on the list here is one I believe is one of their most popular songs, not as much as maybe the song itself, but the saying, Wanted Dead or Alive. I think it's a good song, but I think the term has received a lot more popularity than the song itself. I see a lot of, t-shirts and memorabilia, stuff like that says Wanted Dead or Alive. When I hear those words, I always picture like old town cowboy stuff. I'm not really sure why. I picture like Western movies and some old-fashioned like arrest warrant to have a picture with someone in black and white that says Wanted Dead or Alive, and it's this really, really bad guy. So again, it's a good song, but I think the name brought on a lot more popularity than the song itself. So that's kind of why I have it on the greatest hits list. The next one on the list is What Do You Got? I really like this song, and I think, it says some interesting things about if you don't got love and happiness in your life, what do you really have? A lot of people, you've heard the cliche before, money doesn't buy happiness. That's a whole nother story. I do agree, but again, it's a whole other story. But at the end of the day, it is true. Some people diminish how important it is to have company and companionship in your life. The mind and the body, as human beings, we're not meant to live alone and not have some form of love in our life, whether it be romantic or platonic relationships, it doesn't matter. As human beings, we're meant to have that. And that's kind of what the song is about. If you don't have that love and that happiness in your life that often comes from those relationships, do you really have anything at all? So I think that's a good song for, those reasons, singing about stuff like that, especially from a band that's so famous, saying like, hey, it doesn't matter. I have, all these things anyone could ever dream of. At the end of the day, I have nothing if I don't have love, happiness, and I'm also not a good person. Being a good person is also very, very important. That it is mentioned in the song as well, that not a lot of people, I think, always think about. The next on the list is This Is Love, This Is Life. Surprise, surprise, a love song. But this song is about, you finally meet the love of your life, that you finally get that euphoric feeling that everyone has been talking about. From a young age, you get told, you're going to grow up, you're going to get married, you're going to have kids, that kind of traditional lifestyle. And that's kind of what the song is singing about, that, Bon Jovi, they finally met that person they really love and they want to be with, and they're finally, you could say, achieving that maximum level, earning that prize in life. Not that people are prizes or anything like that, but that's just what the song is about. They finally reached what they have always been striving for. I think it is a nice symbolism in the world of love and stuff like that. The next on the list is The Distance. I really like this song. It is another, kind of love song talking about when you really care about someone, you will go to all kinds of highs and lows to make them happy and provide them whatever they want or need. I'm sure everyone has said or heard the things, I'll move heaven and earth, I'll move the moon and stars for you, I'll be here for you, through whatever. And that's just kind of whatever the song is about. Bon Jovi singing about whatever they have to do, whatever obstacle they have to overcome, they will do that. They will go the distance to, help their partner and help the person they need to help. And again, that's just kind of a nice love song. And it's nice, I'm sure everyone can agree, it's nice to know that you have someone looking out for you and supporting you. And that's, kind of what this song is about. Bon Jovi will forever just be one of the greatest rock bands of all time because of just how hard and how long they worked. I mean, I mentioned it before, 2,700 concerts in over 50 countries. That is so many, so many. Like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, those kind of artists, they do between 50 to like 120, 125 on each of their tours. 2,700. Oh my God, I can't even imagine how tired these guys were. Not even the guys, just the traveling team. That is so many. Bon Jovi will forever go down in history, not only because of their talents, but the impact they made in the music industry. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the greatest songs to hear when you are cleaning. Everyone needs to clean. It is a way of life that we cannot get around. Some do it up more than others. Some could probably do it a little less than others. I may be in that category. Also, later on, we are going to talk about the best of High School Musical, the best musicals of all time, in my opinion, of course. We'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. I hope over the break you had some time to reminisce about the greatest rock band of all time, Bon Jovi, and their greatest hits. Now, let's get into the best songs to clean to. Cleaning is something that you either love it or you hate it, is what I've learned over my years of life. I personally really enjoy cleaning. It is a stress reliever for me. I know some people can relate to this. It is such a freeing feeling when you've cleaned everything that needs to be cleaned, everything is organized, and you can just look at everything and how it's in the right spot, and it's shining, and it's right how it's supposed to be, and it's a boost of serotonin in your brain. If you think I'm weird, then yeah, you're a little right. I'm a little bit OCD, unfortunately. But again, everyone's got to clean. It's not... I mean, I guess it is an option to not clean. I wouldn't suggest that. I would heavily suggest cleaning at some point, even if you don't do it as often as some people. If you are someone who truly, truly hates cleaning, I'm going to give you some songs to listen to that might make the experience a little more enjoyable. The songs I have on this list here are somewhat in the wide variety. They all hold somewhat different purposes. First song we got on the list here is Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars. I'm sure a lot of you hate this song because when it came out, it was overplayed to the max. However, it's really catchy. I think we can all admit that, whether you like it or whether you hate it. It's a really catchy song. You know the words, and it makes you want to dance, even if you can't dance. Makes you want to dance in really funny, horrible dance moves kind of way. It's definitely one of those songs you can see being used in a movie when, someone has music blaring at the top of their lungs, they're doing something, they're not really paying attention, and they're, you could say, making a fool of themselves, and then someone walks in behind them and they get all embarrassed. Those are the kind of cleaning vibes I get when I think of listening to the song while cleaning. Next song, we have a classic, Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. You can definitely embody your inner Rocky while listening to this song, and maybe you can, do some exercise and boxing moves while, mopping or sweeping the floor or fluffing the pillows. Get some jabs and right hooks in there and fluffing those pillows up while you're listening to Eye of the Tiger. Definitely get those moods going. Next, we have Can't Hold Us by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. This song has some great instruments in it that make you want to get up and dance. And getting up and dance involves being on your feet, just like cleaning involves being on your feet. So just dance with, cleaning instruments in your hand. Maybe grab the Swiffer, grab a dustpan, grab any kind of, cleaning thing, and do some dance moves while listening to the song, and I guarantee you'll clean something. You may not clean it correctly or in the most efficient manner, but you'll definitely get clean. Next, we have Run the World by Beyonce, especially my ladies listening to this. Who runs the world? Girls, of course. But, you definitely listen to this song while you're cleaning. It gets you pumped up and really makes you feel like you can do absolutely anything. Similar to Eye of the Tiger, just like you can clean that bathroom that you've been avoiding cleaning because of how gross it's getting. Oh, wait, am I projecting my own issues? I very well might be. Anyways, Can't Hold Us is a great song to listen to when you're cleaning. It really gets you pumped up. Next song is Good as Hell by Lizzo. Lizzo is someone who will just boost your self-confidence within 10 seconds of her song. I don't know how she does it. I'm so jealous. I wish I had that kind of power. If you are not feeling the greatest while you're cleaning and, you're getting dust and dirt all over yourself and, if you got your hair pulled back, Good as Hell will definitely make you feel a lot better and a lot confident about yourself while cleaning. Also something you could sing at the top of your lungs and just remind yourself who you are. It's a great song to listen to for many, many things. Cleaning is one of them. Next, we have Pocket Full of Sunshine by Natasha Bedingfield. You may not have a pocket full of sunshine while you're cleaning, but I guarantee you, after you're done cleaning and you look at your nice, clean space, you'll have a pocket full of sunshine because it will make you all happy. Unless you're like me and then you get very uptight and you don't want anyone to touch anything, and then you can't even enjoy the cleanliness that much because you're too worried about having to clean it after it gets dirty. But for my people out there who are not like me, you will have a pocket full of sunshine after you're done cleaning. Pocket Full of Sunshine is a very catchy song. It's also a cheesy song, kind of one of those songs no one wants to admit they like, but they know the words and they know they want to sing along. Songs to sing in the shower, like I've mentioned on previous shows, and songs to clean to are all, you could say in the same bubble. They're songs that even if you don't want to admit that you like or listen to them or know the words, this is the time. It's while you're cleaning, while you're showering, time to sing them, time to listen to them. It turns you into a whole different person, and you might even like yourself better when you're listening to them. Next, we have I Really Like You by Carly Rae Jepsen. Carly Rae Jepsen has a beautiful voice. A lot of you may know she hasn't, done much of her pop music with the music industry lately. She's been focusing on Broadway. The song I Really Like You is very similar to her song Call Me Maybe, a very, very catchy hit. It is something you want to sing at the top of your lungs, and it will get you distracted. And it's also a song that you just subconsciously know. So even if you don't want to, know the lyrics, they just get stuck in your head. And if you can sing while cleaning, if you don't like cleaning, it takes your mind off it and it gets it done faster. Next one is Wannabe by the Spice Girls. This is a classic. It makes a good song for dancing and singing. Really fun to listen to. And it changes beat a few times as well, and it changes the pace a little bit. And there's a great dance to it as well. I can't do the dance, but if you know it and you can do that dance while you're cleaning. Just, grab the mop and start doing the dance and moving your hands, and the floor will be clean before you know it. Next on the list, we have So What by Pink. Pink is a great, 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 great singer, and she releases banger after banger after banger. Her song So What in particular is a great one to sing to and clean to, because when she hits that line and says, "So what, I'm still a rock star," it really makes you want to rock your head back and forth and dance and move around. And what is a better time to do that than, when you're cleaning? It just gets you in the mood and doesn't get you down in the dumps. For a lot of people, cleaning can be a very mundane and almost depressing thing to do. And if you're listening to such a fun, upbeat, fast-paced, uplifting song like So What by Pink, you can really solve that issue. And again, when she hits that line that says, "So what, I'm still a rock star," I start embodying my inner rock star and, grab that broom, pretend it's a guitar for a few seconds, and start playing it. And then get back to sweep the floor. Next on the list, we have Baby by Justin Bieber. This is a classic in my head. Also a song that some people are more than tired of hearing for sure. But it's a song to clean to because it's just really catchy and you could say almost annoying to listen to. It was definitely overplayed when it first came out 11 years ago. To this day, everybody knows it, especially, Generation Z and my younger millennials out there all know the song very well. And lots of adults know it. I shouldn't name a generation. Anyone who can remember when the song came out knows the song. It is just so popular. And again, just very cheesy. And time to sing cheesy songs is when you're playing it. And, what's great about the song Baby is it goes from that really cheesy pop when Justin's singing to Ludacris's part when Ludacris starts rapping. So you can really change your motion up and your rhythm when you're cleaning. You can go from really, fast-paced cleaning to slowing it down a little bit when the rap part comes on. Throw in some diverse rhythm and change things up. Make it not such a boring experience for you if cleaning is more on the harder side. Next on the list, we have Up Down by T-Pain featuring B.O.B. This song is a fun one, and it's all about dancing, and it's a good rap song. It's just good to clean to. It's fun to listen to. It's a nice song when you don't exactly know what you want to listen to, if that makes sense. It's just, you can't go wrong type thing. There's not much meaning behind it. And sometimes when you're doing certain activities, you don't want to hear meaning in a song too much because then you almost get distracted and you can't really get done what you're trying to get done. So Up Down is kind of like that. There's not a huge direct meaning behind the song. It is just a song about dancing, and that's dancing in a club, and that's about it. Dancing on stage in a club. There's not some, hidden agenda or anything like that behind the song. Next one we have on the list is 1985 by Bowling for Soup. Before I get into why the song is good to clean to, I just want to say Bowling for Soup. I don't know really anything about the band. This is, I think, the only song I know by them. But I really like their name, Bowling for Soup. I'd bowl for some soup. I mean, why not? I mean, I love soup. I'm not that great at bowling, though, so I don't think I'd win, and then I'd be pretty upset. But the song, 1985, if you haven't heard it, it is about a woman reminiscing about how things were when, 1985, when she was that age, and how much things have changed. There's some really good lines in this song that rhyme really well, and they come out of the mouth and they come out off the tongue really easily, at least in my opinion. I think they do. So that's why I think it's a great song to clean to. You don't want to, be listening to a song when you're cleaning and trying to sing along, and it's like really fast and tongue twister, and you can't say it because then you just get embarrassed. Even by yourself, you get embarrassed. I mean, I get embarrassed. So I don't know. It's like this. I just do. But so. Good song to listen to when you clean for that reason. Next one, we have We Are Never Getting Back Together by Taylor Swift. Great breakup song if you're going through a breakup and maybe you're cleaning because your partner just moved out and you were trying to scrub away every last memory and inch and smell of them in your space. This is a great one to listen to. You can angrily listen and scrub and sweep and mop and do whatever you're going to do. Maybe you're throwing clothes out the window. That's still cleaning. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't really recommend throwing clothes out the window. But you can metaphorically maybe throw clothes out the window while you're listening to the song. You don't exactly have to do the act. You can pretend you're doing it while maybe you're tossing some paper into the trash can, something like that. We Are Never Getting Back Together is just so catchy, and even if you don't like it, you want to sing along to it. Great song to listen to when you're cleaning. Next one, we have Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. when she hits those lines, you put your hands up playing that song. Put your hands up and clean the dust off your fan. I know you haven't done it in a while, and that's why your allergies are acting up. Oh, wait, I'm projecting again. That's myself. But Party in the USA, upbeat song, fun one to listen to while you're cleaning. And again, you most likely know all the words to it, even if you don't want to admit it. Next, we have Born This Way by Lady Gaga. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. It really stands up for what people, believe in. So, and it's also a song about being proud of who you are. And I think that's really great and a great song to sing when you're cleaning if you're feeling a little down about yourself for whatever reason. You could just sing the song and remember you were born the way you are and you should not be ashamed of it. Next, we have the song Concert for Aliens by Machine Gun Kelly. I am a very, very big Machine Gun Kelly fan, and I also really love this song, Concert for Aliens. It is definitely a rock song. It is very fast-paced and upbeat, and it's a really, bang your head against the wall type song. Not in a bad way, a good way, but don't bang your head against the wall. That's really going to hurt. I wouldn't recommend. But listen to the song while you clean. It's really going to get you pumped up, and it's going to want to make you clean the top of the shelf that you're always refusing to clean because it's too high up and you don't want to move all the really heavy stuff. But it's going to make you want to do it because it's going to make you feel like you can do anything. Next on the list, we have Rolling in the Deep by Adele. This is a great song, again, to sing if you are maybe cleaning after a harsh breakup and, your partner just moved out. And, sing at the top of your lungs. We could have had it all while you were maybe metaphorically throwing their clothes, a.k.a. paper out the window, a.k.a. into the trash. And again, don't throw clothes out the window, but you can pretend you're doing it. Rolling in the Deep is a wonderful song to sing at any time in your life, especially when you're cleaning. Sing at the top of your lungs. Really get your feelings out while you're cleaning. It will make the experience a whole lot better. Next we have on the list here is Thrift Shop by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Who doesn't love this song? I mean, okay, don't answer that because I know a lot of you are probably going to say you can't stand it. And yeah, I admit it was definitely overplayed when it first came out, but it's really catchy and it's funny. There's no hidden meaning behind it. It's not going after something or trying to appropriate anything like that. It's just a fun song about going to the thrift shop and buying some, second, third-hand clothing. The part about a moped is a little weird, but it's just really fun to listen to, and that's why I think it's a great song to listen to when you're cleaning, so that way you can have a good time and, not think too much. Next song we have on the list here is Someone You Loved by Louis Capaldi. This is another breakup song you can sing if you're going through a breakup while you're cleaning. It's sing at the top of your lungs, especially if you have a broken heart, which if you do, my apologies. But just a great song in general. If you can sing like Louis Capaldi, please, 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 please start your career now. Everyone deserves to hear your voice. Even if you can't sing like him, sing the song where you're cleaning. It will make you feel better. It will take some stress off your shoulders, especially if you don't like cleaning and you're getting stressed out because maybe you're not doing it wrong. That stain can't come out of the carpet. You can't get the dish clean. There's a scratch on your mother's china, whatever it is. It'll make you feel better. You'll be releasing so much oxygen when you're singing, and you'll just feel so much stress come out of your life. Cleaning is something we all have to do. Again, some do it more than others. Some shouldn't do it as much as they do, including myself. Over the break, maybe think about what is the number one thing on your list you have been avoiding cleaning that you really need to do, and then grab one of these songs, turn it on, and just do a quick little freshen up to whatever that area is. After we come back from the break, it is finally time to talk about the best of High School Musical, my favorite musicals to ever exist, and songs I still have on my playlist to this day. I don't care if they are over 15 years old and it makes me sound childish. They are the best. We'll be right back in a few minutes, guys.
Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blank and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. Hopefully, over the break, you guys thought about briefly some areas you may need to straighten up in the near future. Now, the time has come that I am so very, very eager to talk about with all of you. High School Musical. I am 21 years old, and I am kind of prime time age for when High School Musical came out. I was the exact demographic they were shooting for, and let me tell you, it worked perfectly. 15 years later, these songs are on my playlist. I am hooked to them. I still know every single word, and I sing them very, very frequently. For those of you who aren't really aware, High School Musical was a series of 3 movies that came out 2006, 2007, 2008 about high schoolers, and it was a musical mainly around the star Troy Bolton, played by Zac Efron, choosing between his love of singing and his love of basketball, and trying to balance the peer pressure of you can't sing and play basketball, stuff like that. Before we get into their greatest songs, let's talk about some really interesting facts. High School Musical 1 soundtrack became the first TV soundtrack to reach number 1 since the Miami Vice soundtrack in 1986. That is 20 years since a TV soundtrack, became number 1 on the Billboard charts. So that is absolutely amazing. Also, not a surprise. There are a lot of, websites out there that when you look up best TV and movie soundtracks of all time, High School Musical has been, named on them. And I think that's really huge because a lot of people will almost discount, you could say Disney actors and actresses and Disney things because they're like, well, it's Disney, it's made for kids, it doesn't really count, which I think is very unfair because I think, being talented as an actor, actress especially is very hard, and particularly being a child because, your children are children. They're not fully developed yet, and they don't have the same skill set as adults to work under that kind of pressure. So in my opinion, they deserve even more recognition. Point, being though, High School Musical 1 and so on, they really changed things for Disney as far as movie, and they really set the stepping stones for the show like Hannah Montana, which was a huge music surrounded show. So High School Musical 1 also became the best-selling album in that year, selling 3.7 million copies in the U.S. That is in the U.S., not worldwide, 3.7 million copies in the United States. When I tell you this song, not the song, all songs, when the album was a hit, I am not joking. I had all of the High School Musical stuff when I was a kid. I had water bottles, backpacks, clothing, bed sheets. The night before school, I would fill up my High School Musical water bottle with water, and I'd put it in the freezer so that way it would be rock hard in the morning, and it would melt throughout the day, and it would stay ice cold. And one morning I was in a rush, and I dropped it out of the freezer, and it broke in half because it was all ice, and it was just plastic. and I cried like a baby. I was 6 or 7, and it was my favorite water bottle, and it was so upsetting to me. I still have nightmares about it to this day. Point being, I really, really love them, especially because there was a lot of dancing and music in the movies, which are right up my alley. All 3 of the soundtracks hit number 1 of the Billboard Hot 100, and they were hits all around. High School Musical 3 even got released in theaters, unlike the first 2 movies who just got a Disney Channel premiere. The third one got released in movies and did very well, and was very emotional watching the third movie end, especially for a huge fan like myself. Let's talk about the greatest hits from the first soundtrack, High School Musical 1. I'm going to start with the opening song, of course, Start of Something New, that is sang by Gabriella and Troy. This is the first song in the movie. It is played within the first 10 minutes, and if you haven't seen the movie, I will give you a quick rundown. Troy and Gabriella, they're on vacation for New Year's with their families. They meet at this ski resort, and they're like an all ages little thing at the ski resort, and they're in high school, and 2 people who are running the karaoke thing push them on stage, and they're strangers, and they don't know the song, and they sing Start of Something New. And then when they go home after the vacation, after winter break ends, Gabriella moved to, the school that Troy's in, not knowing anything about each other, just huge coincidence, and had started something new because that was the start of their relationship and meeting each other. Classic love story, especially for a Disney movie, but the song is catchy and I still love it to this day. The next one is Get Your Head in the Game. That is mainly by Troy, but the entire basketball team sings it as well. Very, very catchy. Also kind of annoying because of the amount of basketballs being bounced and the basketball shoes squeaking on the gymnasium floor in the background, but very catchy and defines my childhood, so I really like it. Next one is Stick to the Status Quo. Every time I hear this song, I have a very distinct image from the movie and what is happening. If you haven't seen the movie, when everyone breaks out singing to the song, everyone's in the cafeteria, food gets spilled on one girl, and it's basically all the cliques, not all the cliques, but a decent amount of people from the cliques coming out and saying, well, I don't just want to play basketball, I want to do this. I don't want to just play violin with the orchestra, I want to do this. And then all the stereotypical stuff comes out, like, no, you have to stay with what you know, stick to the status quo, stuff like that. But it has some great dancing. There's a lot of dancing on the tables, and it's just fun to listen to. Next one, we have none other than Breaking Free. This is my favorite song off the soundtrack. When they hit those lines and they say, we're soaring, we're flying, we're breaking free, it's so exciting. It's one of the best songs ever, and I don't just mean in Disney. It really is one of the best songs ever. Again, it's never going to truly get the recognition it deserves because, it's with Disney, but Generation Z and younger millennials know the song and will always, always, always love it. The last song from the soundtrack is We're All in This Together. That is the final song from the movie. It is a banger, of course, and it's really fun to listen to, especially for kids. And since I grew up with it, watching it as a kid, I'm always going to love it. And I still love it to this day. It gets you in the mood, it gets you pumped up, and it has, that cheesy line of, oh, we're all in this together, and all that stuff. So how can you not love it? Moving on to the second soundtrack from High School Musical 2, I had a hard time not listing every single song on the soundtrack for this one. I'd say High School Musical 2 soundtrack might be my favorite out of the all 3 of them. I can't say that with certain positivity, but, I like almost every single one of the songs. The first one being the opening song, What Time Is It? High School Musical 2 and the anticipation behind it was absolutely huge. And when I found out there was going to be a second movie, I was so excited. I remember the night it premiered, I was sitting on my floor watching TV. I had a Princess TV with Disney Princess sheets at the time, and I had my High School Musical water bottle. And if you haven't seen the movie, High School Musical 2 opens with the clock ticking, and summer is about to start, and everyone just keeps chanting summer, 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 summer. And as soon as the bell rings, they all start singing the song, What Time Is It? This was so cool to 7-year-old me, and it's still pretty cool to this day. Because the movie was so largely anticipated because of how well the first one did, I think they definitely held up to the sequel standards. As we've talked about before, and a lot of you know, it is so hard to live up to the standards of, the original movie. They did fantastic with 2 and 3 for High School Musical. What Time Is It? One of my favorite lines in the song is when Sharpay and Ryan Evans, aka Ashley Tisdale and Lucas Gabriel, sing the line, shop till we drop. I personally am someone who loves to shop till I drop. So I love that line in particular. And again, this song opens the movie, so I really like it. The next one is the song Fabulous. This song is sang by Sharpay Evans in the movie, which is, you could say, the villain. You could use those terms if you want, but Fabulous is definitely a bop by all means. When she says turkey imported from Maine, and it's just a song about being really fancy and having all the nicer things in life. And as a kid, you hear these things and you're like, oh, it sounds so cool, but you're also like, whoa, that's insane. And again, it is a kid's movie at the end of the day, but it's a musical, and it's funny, and it's really catchy as well. A lot of these songs, they're catchy even if the lyrics aren't good, they're catchy. Next on the list, we have Work This Out. This is one of my favorites from High School Musical 2 because of the choreography with it. It is sung in the kitchen where everyone is just getting their work assignments for their new summer job. And a lot of the beats are, made with pots and pans and all kinds of kitchen cutlery. And it's really aesthetically pleasing to watch. Even if those aren't the actual sounds that are happening, it makes it seem like those are the actual sounds, even if, other instruments are using them. So the choreography with the song makes it really fun to listen to as well. And the song is very similar to the first movie, We're All in This Together, kind of the same vibe there. The next song we have is You Are the Music in Me. This song is, there's 2 versions of it. There's the Troy and Gabriella version, and then there is the Sharpay and Troy version. I like the Troy and Gabriella version a lot better, by all means. Another cheesy love song. It's just really, really great to listen to. And Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens in particular are both very good singers. Fun fact, Zac Efron did not sing in the first musical because he had to take voice lessons. When I found that out, it broke my heart. But he was singing in High School Musical 2, and by that time, his voice had improved a lot, and him and Gabriella, aka Vanessa Hudgens, sound absolutely wonderful together. The next one from High School Musical 2 is I Don't Dance. This song will forever live on to, I think, have one of the greatest musical scenes from a movie of all time. If you haven't seen it, the song I Don't Dance takes place on a baseball field when, the sporty guy, Corbin Blue, aka Chad, is having it out with the theater guy, Ryan, aka Lucas Gabriel, and, they're going back and forth, and dancing, theater isn't hard, but playing baseball is, and they just kind of argue about which is harder, and one tries to teach each other how to dance, the other tries to teach the other how to play baseball, and at one point, both teams are all dancing with baseball bats, and, they're kicking up the orange clay on the baseball field, and it's really aesthetically pleasing to watch, and it makes the song even better. The next one we have is Gotta Go My Own Way. This is a heartbreaking song to listen to while watching the movie, and particularly when Gabriella starts running away from Troy and she gives him back the tea necklace. That just makes the song even 10 times more heartbreaking. My 7-year-old self was crying like a baby, even though I had never experienced any kind of heartbreak in my life like that one. But still, it broke my heart. If you haven't heard Gotta Go My Own Way, it is a very realistic song about, sometimes you've got to break up with someone and go find your own way in life, and sometimes you will find your way back. That whole, let something be free. If it comes back, it was meant to be. If it doesn't, it was never yours at all. Kind of, in that realm of things. And as far as kids' song go, Gotta Go My Own Way. Great breakup song for 7-year-olds to listen to. Next on the list, we have Every Day. That is one of the last songs in the movie. It involves mainly, Troy and Gabriella, but a lot of the entire cast singing. It has a lot of uplifting, you could say, stuff with it. It is at the point in the movie where Troy thinks, Gabriella's never coming back, and then she comes back and surprises him after the help of his friends, after he apologized to them and, was that he's sorry for being mean and all that kind of stuff. And also at the end of the movie, he's being nice to Sharpay, even after she was kind of a villain and was really mean to him and stuff like that. So, it's a really sweet love song, and just is it's a nice pace of rhythm as well compared to a lot of the other songs that are so fast-paced and dance-worthy. This is not as much dance-worthy, but you can dance to it if you want. Moving on to the final movie, High School Musical 3. This has a lot, I'd say, more mature songs in it. Even though it was still by Disney, I think you could definitely see the maturity of the cast going from earlier in high school to their senior year of high school. So the first on the list here is the opening song from the movie, Now or Never. This is, the team is playing their final basketball game of high school, and they got to win. It's their championship, and if they don't win their last game in high school, obviously it's the end of the world. No, I'm just kidding. But it is really upbeat and fast-paced. The next one is A Night to Remember. This has some great dancing to it and a lot of different outfit changes in the song, for the video of it. It is really, it has so many different voices in it, so I think that's what makes it great. As do a lot of these songs, A Night to Remember in particularly has multiple different actors and actresses singing. I think that makes it really great to hear so many different types of voices and singers. The next one is Just Want to Be With You. They're just like on one of the other soundtracks, there are two versions of this song. They have the Troy and Gabriella one, and then also the Sharpay and Troy's understudy. I can't even remember his name. That's how much he annoyed me. But I like the Troy and Gabriella one better. No surprise there. That is another classic love song. No surprise, talking about how they just want to be with each other. Next one on the list, we have The Boys Are Back. This is so fun to listen to. It is shot in such a great manner in a junkyard. They're hopping up and down on cars. They're using, cars and tires and hubcaps as instruments. They're making all these cool sorts of sounds, and it makes the lyrics and the video and everything so much better. My last song on this soundtrack is the final one, High School Musical. That is the name of the song. It is, around the closing credits. It is really, really great and almost sad to listen to, especially for the cast. A lot of them said when that final curtain fell, a lot of them broke down in tears. It was really, really emotional for them. And it was emotional for me watching it. So it was, the closing of three movies that I grew up watching for 3 years straight that I also, you could say, connected with so much because of how much I love watching music and dancing. And I truly love Disney so much at the time too. All of the High School Musical movies will, I believe, forever go down in history as defining some of Disney's most popular work. They did so well. Disney Plus even has a spinoff, High School Musical, the series on Disney Plus. So some of the greatest movies of all time with some of the greatest soundtracks of all time. If you have not indulged in the High School Musicals movies before or the soundtracks, I would highly recommend. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would also like to ask you guys to please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. It really helps us out. Also, if you can please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We appreciate it so much. We want to entertain you guys in the best way possible. Thank you guys so much. Remember to stay healthy, take your vitamins, drink plenty of water. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night, whatever time it is from wherever you are.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.